I am Rare Allen from the band Thunder Arc. I wrote and directed Butterflies Marching music video. I wanted to inform the public about this government corruption at its highest level. This is bigger than the Watergate scandal, and it's up there with Roswell. This involves a lot of high government officials that have felonies on them. And my story starts with 8 years ago. I was a parole counselor, and one of my parolees was messing around with one of the counselors, or so-called counselors. I reported it and went through the proper channels, you know, because me and the parole officer had talked, and we didn't want to keep it on us because we knew about it, and actually my parolee let me know about it. And like I said, I'm a professional, so I reported to my supervisor, and it went up the chain. They ended up firing me. They found some reason to fire me, you know, because they were embarrassed about it. And I ended up going to an unemployment hearing because I already knew that, you know, the corruption was there. So I went to an unemployment hearing, and they started lying on me on purpose about things. And that's kind of where it started. I went through the New York State Appellate Division, and I went completely through the Federal Appellate Division all the way to the Supreme Court. I went to the Supreme Court. They turned me down the first time. Like I said, Supreme Court only looks like 60 cases a year out of the whole United States. At least that's what it was. So I didn't really expect that. It was kind of more like a statement, like I'm not going away. So I ended up using that stuff that the lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court. I ended up using that to the one that I just did last year in 2010, that was in July, that I had. This involves from district attorneys, police officers, senators, federal judges. The president's involved with this. This isn't my opinion. These are facts I have. Like I said, I've spent over 14,000 hours into this. I've been doing it straight from 2004 until now, and it's still going on. Like I said, I've wrote to the president. He's actually wrote things back to me. I actually wrote one in it was actually in April, and 2 in July. I'll show you some of the things he wrote to me. Just show you. This one's this is from the White House right here. This is another one from the White House, personally from President Obama. And this is the first one that I wrote. And I wrote some things back along with this because, like I said, the FBI is involved with this corruption too. So like I said, this went through both things, and like I said, they violated federal law and they violated the Constitution. And believe me, I'm an expert in this over anyone else in the world about this because I've been doing it for 8 years. I mean, I know more about this than the Supreme Court knows about this. I've sent them things, and it's just, like I said, the media, CNN's knowing about this, the Associated Press is knowing about this, Washington Post, the New York Times. I can go on my local, the TV stations around here knew about this. They kept this secret. And the Democrat Chronicle, that's a local newspaper from Rochester, New York. I sent them stuff all day. They kept this stuff secret. So, you know, this is really a big thing. And, you know, I didn't know it was going to come to, how it was going to come unfold. I was going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm getting the message out there from this music video. I'm not trying to get a music video out, you know, from the other way around. I'm trying to do this so that other people can know what's going on, the level of the corruption. And this involves, I mean, if we have government officials that are committing felonies and they're still in office right now, as a matter of fact, the reason why it went to federal court is because the district attorney, Mike Green, the one that President Obama and Senator Chuck Schumer tried to nominate to the as a federal judge, U.S. District Court, I let them know clearly ahead of time what's up. I was sending Senator Schumer and Senator Clinton things at the state level, you know, and they had their usual, you know, the political stuff. I knew that stuff was there. When it went to the federal level, I was sending President Obama, I was sending Senator McCain, both of them things at the same time because I didn't know who was going to be the president. So I was sending both of them things. I was fair. I didn't vote in the last election because of the stuff going on. I was dealing with this 4 years before, you know, the rest of the economy and everyone else started losing their jobs and things. This was happening to me. This kind of stems back from my parents. They like I said, they came up from North Carolina. They migrated up here from North Carolina. This is a true story. They migrated up from North Carolina. We lived in the city for about, well, I was about a year and a half. My parents lived in the city, but they moved me out in the suburbs. Henrietta, a suburb of Rochester. I was about 1.5 years old, so I knew Henrietta. That's what I knew. That's how I was raised. So I had a best friend. His name was Steve. I'll just go by his first name. Lived across the street from me. We did everything together. We were best friends. Blonde hair, blue eyes. And he was my best friend. And one time, I'll never forget about this. This stuck with me, and it's with me, now. It's been with me the whole time with different things, just so you can kind of get a feel of the kind of character I am. Steve had a birthday party. It's probably about, I don't know, 6, 7, or 8. I'm not exactly sure. I went over there. It was right across the street, and all my friends were going to be there from school. I went over the first time. His mother said it was too early. Go back home, come back in a little while. So I did that. It was that was cool at the time. So I went back again, and she told me the same thing. She said, "Go home again." I started seeing people in there. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm one of the few black families from Rochester. I'm basically a pioneer of a black family from Rochester, So I went back a third time, same thing. So the fourth time I went back, my parents just kept me home because they knew what was going on. And like I said, Steve, like I said, our friends had their mothers were there and stuff like this. So before, like I said, Steve's mother was no problem. We'd go over there to eat lunch and stuff like this. We'd play together, be in the pool, this or that. But that's one thing that stuck with me was the social norms, how people are different around different things. I mean, people that, have masks on or people that aren't genuine. Well, I'm the opposite of that. When the last time I went back home, like I said, my parents kept me home. I was crying, and I was crying, a little kid. I was crying, because I didn't know what was going on. It was my first real taste of racism. So I sat in a chair, like a plaid chair, in the living room next to a false fireplace. I was crying and crying, where the type where you're crying and you're actually trying to catch your breath